Hi, how are you? Here we go. We are getting ready here to broadcast live over the interwebs. Very exciting day, very exciting show. Sitting here in a hotel room. I don't really need a suit on for radio. I know. But when you're happy and you know it, when you're happy and you know it. That's how we roll today, baby. That's how we are rolling today. 102. 102.30. Starting at 102.30. Let me see here. Everything looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Shutting everything else down. Nope. Resetting. Check with Bill. Bill seems good. Check with India. India says everything is good. All right, friends, if you're ready, I'm ready. There we go. My watch is going to die. What kind of crap is that? What kind of crap is that? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ralph Peterson Radio Show. I am your host, Ralph Peterson, and I am so excited to be here. I got to tell you, I can't believe how fast, and I know we say this every year, you know, we're always can't wait to the end of the year, and then the end of the year comes, and you look back with some fondness, and you go, where did the time go? Where has it all gone? I have no idea, but here we go, running, rolling, streaming, screaming straight into 2021. I could not be more excited for the new year. I am so done with 2020. I'm done with all the chaos and the madness and the rules and the regulations. And I don't know if you heard this. I won't spend a lot of time on it, but it's the type of story that comes across your desk once, I think, in a lifetime. And if you don't make note of it, if you let it just go by without highlighting the high points, then you're missing out on a big laugh, a big chuckle. And maybe it's not funny. I'm not sure how to take this at all, but dating, casual dating, that is, has been banned. It is now illegal to casually date in England. I'm not making this up. I swear to you, I am not making this up. I'm reading, this is an actual article that it's really saying that casual dating is no longer permissible in England due to the coronavirus, due to the pandemic and social distancing rules. So here it goes. Here's the rules. You have to maintain 6 feet apart at all times. You have to wear face coverings at all time if you're meeting somebody new. And you have to be outdoors. So there's no indoor, there's no hand holding. You better forget. I used to be, when I was a dating young man, I tell you what, going up, walking a lady home, wondering whether or not I'm going to be able to get a kiss goodnight and whether or not how she's going to take it, if she's going to kiss me back or she's going to get upset, should I, could I, will I, oh. Now, in England, well, friends, everybody's watching you, and you had better not go in for a kiss goodnight. You had better not go in for a hug. You better not go in too close to this new person that you're just meeting and think for a second that you're going to get another date, and that other date is going to end up indoors in any sense of the word, because that is now illegal in the country of England. Oh, is it funny? Is it not funny? I'm not sure. I just couldn't listen, I don't know. It's the 15th of December, 2020. Welcome to the Ralph Peterson Radio Show. I am very excited. It's the day after my mother's 45th birthday, so I'm very excited about that. Happy birthday to my mom. I know I said 45th birthday, which puts her about 5 years younger than me, but when you're a kid, I remember my mom was celebrating every time she had a birthday, she was always celebrating her 30th birthday, and it was her 10th anniversary of her 30th birthday. It was her 11th anniversary of her 30th birthday. And you don't put that together when you're a little kid. It's kind of like, Mom, that's funny, that's dumb. Boy, I'll tell you what, I'm pushing 50 and I get it, Momsy. I get it. So she is officially celebrating her 45th birthday for the 30th time. So that is very good for her. 30 years being 45 years old. So I say happy birthday to Momsy. Good for her. We have a big show for you today, but before we get too far into it, I know I go off on tangents. What do you want me to do? The first thing we need to get into is to talk about our fantastic community, the IBGR community. The IBGR.network is the place you want to go. That is who's broadcasting us live here on the interwebs all across the world. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy that you are with us today. Please go to ibgr.network and you can find there's so much content on IBGR. We are a business radio program. It is a business radio that is put together by business owners for business owners. This is where every entrepreneur in the entire universe wants to be. This is where they should be. You can engage and listen in or interact with any host, including myself, I might add, at ibgr.network. There is a flashing yellow question mark in the bottom right-hand corner. And if you just click on that little button, you can comment, you can make comments, you can ask questions, you can make don't make suggestions. I wouldn't listen to them anyway. You can make comments. You can tell me how much you like my suit. Not many people run a suit when they're on radio, but that's what I'm rolling into today. I'm working here. So, you got to pause for a minute. Everyone's like, we're going to take our lunch break. I said, you go have a sandwich. I'm going to go do 60 minutes of radio. That's how I roll. They're like, how do you get so much done? You just cram it all in, friends. You cram it all in. That's how you get it all done. So what's important to you is what you will do. If it's not important to you, guess what? You're not going to do it. So here we are on the radio, IBGR.network, because it is important to me. I love it here. I love the feedback. I love sharing. I love talking about business and operations, and I'm so happy to be here. You can also see me live. We are live on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, both on Ralph Peterson's channel. The channels are called Ralph Peterson, or on IBGR. We are live on IBGR right now as well, which is so fantastic because as great as an audience I have, well, IBGR has about 13,000 more followers and viewers than I do. So I'm super happy to be broadcasting worldwide via IBGR social network. Anytime you can hijack or piggyback on somebody else's social network, I say you do it. So that's why we're here. I'm so excited about that as well. So if you would like to watch this in real time, you can go to one of our social media channels. Otherwise, the best way to listen to the show, and I mean the best way to listen to the show, is by getting the app. There is an app, an IBGR app. Go to your app store. It doesn't matter if you have a Android or if you have an iPhone. Go to your app store, type in IBGR, get the radio app, and you can listen. And this is the best. Listen, I'm telling you right now, with peace and love, friends, peace and love. This is what you do. You take your favorite radio program, which of course is the Ralph Peterson Radio Show, and you go outside and you put the headphones in and you do something physical while you listen to the show. That's how you're supposed to listen to radio. That's how you're supposed to listen to music. That's how you're supposed to listen to other radio programs. It's how you're supposed to listen to audiobooks. You're not supposed to sit stationary. You're not supposed to park yourself on the couch and pull up a great book and just going to listen to it. You're not going to listen to it. You know what you're going to do? You're going to fall asleep. You're going to daydream. You're going to go past 60 minutes of great radio content here, and you're not going to hear a darn thing. Do not sit stationary and listen to this show. This show is an action-taking show. It's for people who are on their feet listening. Get the application, put it on your phone, download the app, put up Ralph Peterson Radio Show, get on your feet, go outside, and let's get on with it. It's so fantastic to be here. So great to have you on with me. Talking about operational management, I came across this story that is just so It's so near and dear to my heart. I can't even tell you. I love it. I love it. I love it. Here's the headline: High school dropout. High school dropout starts a company that offers free delivery for restaurants. This is a 21-year-old kid, a kid named Adam Gould, Gild, G-U-I-L-D, Guild, Guide, Guild? I don't know. Adam is his name. He's a 21-year-old guy, dropped out of high school. And for those of you who do not know me that well and know my story that well, I was once a 21-year-old high school dropout. How you doing, friends? And I'm going to tell you this. We're going to get into his story because he created this great little company and he's off and running. And the headline says, it's this, oh my gosh, a high school dropout is smart. Oh my God, a high school dropout can actually do something with his life. Oh my God, a high school dropout is actually intelligent. Listen to me. It's a little disconcerting with this whole title. I dropped out of high school at 16 years old for a whole host of reasons that we can get into. I mean, all kinds of reasons. None of it was because I wasn't smart. None of it because I wasn't motivated. None of it was because I wasn't intelligent. None of it was because I wanted to give up on myself in my life. None of those things are true. None of those things are true. And I guarantee if you know somebody who is a high school dropout, that they too are not stupid. And they too are not demotivated. And they too are not just waste of life. I wasn't a waste of life. They're not a waste of life. And this kid Adam is proven right here. He too is not a waste of life. That does not to say, I'm going to go on a tangent and I didn't mean to. I'm unscripted. I'm going unscripted, off the script here. I didn't mean to say that education is not valuable because I think that education is the most valuable thing that you can do for yourself. As a matter of fact, if we're talking about goals for 2021, and we should be talking about goals for 2021, education should be on the top of that list. It should be on. I did go back to school. I did drop out at 16. I did. And it was a big mistake of mine. And I wish I never did it. And it put me behind by a lot. And I had to do an awful lot of catching up. But I did do a lot of catching up. And it is worth it. So if you're one of those who dropped out of high school and wondering what you should do next, it is go back to school. All right, I couldn't go back to high school. I was too old. And maybe that's not the place for you either. But go back to school nonetheless. Here's my only thing is he creates an app, a meal delivery app, where he's going to compete with other meal delivery apps. And this guy, Adam, see, this is where education comes in, my friend. He is doing it for free. So he's offering his services, meal delivery app for free or a very low charge compared to other delivery apps. And that, my friend Adam, and everybody knows Adam, you let him know you haven't listened to this show. This podcast, you can go to ibgr.network, listen to the past show at any time. That's the big problem right there. He's doing it for less than everybody else. That's a big lesson that I had to learn in business. I thought the way to win business, the way to win customers, the way to do things was to undercut everybody else. If I could do it cheaper than everybody else, then that's going to be my hook. Here's the thing. You should not be doing things cheaper than everybody else. You should instead be paying attention to the market, We'll get back into it right on the other side of this. Don't go anywhere. Donna said a post in FB and you said is the last week. Just checking. Oh, Hey, India, I'm getting a note that we said this is the last show. It's not the last show. Could we change that? Could we change that so that it's not showing that this is our last show on the air? It's not. This is, I didn't see the post, so forgive me for communicating with you via going live here. Hi, everyone talking to India. Everybody just turn away, earmuff it. India, will you give me a thumbs up that you're comprehending this? Please. Please, please, please. Not the last show, friends. You can't get rid of me that easy. How dare you? Not the last show. Not the last show. Got it. Changing it now. Thank you, India, so much. She is on it. Our bad. See, that's not just my bad. It's our bad. India and I. Our bad. Sorry. Making people nervous. No need, friends. 1:17:30 is the time we're going back in. It's one. Why are we always going back so late? My schedule several replays next week if you are scheduled for Thursday or Friday. Okay. Okay. 1:16. Oh my. Oh my. All right. Here we go. We're going back in about 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I don't know why my phone watch didn't charge. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Ralph Peterson Radio Show. We are so excited. We're on fire over here. Actually, we're in the opposite of on fire up here. We're in the Northeast. I'm recording. I'm doing the show live from Buffalo, New York, up here in a hotel room, hunkered down. It's snowing like mad outside. And in fact, I think we're supposed to be getting like one of those classic nor'easters downstate, Long Island, where I live, where I hail from. And, you know, it's my wife and I we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. So we're super new in this relationship. And so, as you know, men out there, we're always trying to do the manly thing for our wife, especially our brand new wives. We want to prove ourselves to let her know that she didn't make a poor decision. And we're going to get the biggest snowstorm of our entire marriage. They're talking about like something like 18 to 24 inches inside of 8 hours. And guess who's not there to help dig her out? That's right, me. I don't know how I lucked out, how we scheduled me to come to Buffalo right when the biggest snowstorm hits of the year. 8 hours, 8 to 24 inches in 8 hours. They're saying you're going to go to bed. You're going to go to bed Wednesday night, and she's going to wake up to what they're going to call I hate my husband shoveling duties to get herself out of the driveway to get to work the next day. Oh, big round of applause for me and my husbandry. I'm so good at it. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your support. Oh, foolish me. We're going to be out of the nor'easter. We're just having a little bit of snowflakes here in Buffalo, but I think they're going to get hit really hard. If you are listening on the interwebs, please go to ibgr.network and check out all the offerings there. We have a huge community there. And I'm telling you what, if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, if you want to be a business owner or an entrepreneur, this is got to be one of those saved websites that you have. I don't know about you, but I have a ton of saved websites. All in my little toolbar up on top of my screen, I have one that just says business. And under that, if I click on that business tab, it has tons of websites that I go to all the time because I'm always trying to find little tips and tricks and information on how to get better, how to serve my clients better, how to be better, how to do more, spend less. This is one of those websites you need to save to one of your favorites. It is ibgr.network. And I'm telling you, this way to listen to this radio show is on your feet doing something else. So please go to your app center, app icon, app store. There it is, store, app store on your phone, and download IBGR Radio. It is going to change your life, because then you'll be able to walk around listening to me. How much fun is that? I mean, come on, there's nothing, and it's Christmas and it's snowing outside. I mean, what's the matter with you? It's so great. I do want to keep talking about this guy, Adam. This guy, Adam Gould, the 21-year-old high school dropout who created his own business. And the reason I want to keep hammering on this is just highlight something that I think is so important in business that I didn't know. It took me a long time. You know, when you read Adam's story, it's kind of fun. And it's also very telling. This kid started his first company when he was 9. His first technology project when he was 9 years old. You know, I mean, this kid was always tinkering, always trying to find stuff out, trying to figure out how to make extra money. I was the same way. I started my own baseball card selling company when I was 15. I went to the Holyoke Mall in Holyoke, Massachusetts. There's a huge sports card expedition. I had to beg, borrow, and steal $50 so I can buy a table. And then, you know, you set up all your cards and you wheel and deal and you try to get people to buy your cards, and you want to get some cards. And I was always terrible at it because there were a lot more cards that I wanted to buy than the ones that I wanted to sell. And so every time I sold a card, I tried to buy a card. It was a stupid. I had no business sense at all, but I was also the first time in business where I had been stolen from. There was a big mad rush at my table, a lot of kids looking at cards. And before I could even figure out what was going on, half my cards were in those kids' pockets and they were walking from my table. And I remember just looking down at my table and all my cards, you know, like these huge gaping holes. I'm like, wait, what? And this other gentleman who was sitting beside me who had his own table. And he goes, it looks like you sold a lot of cards. And I didn't sell one. God, I hate it. Oh my gosh. Getting ripped off in business is, oh, what a challenge. What a tough lesson you have to learn. But this kid, Adam Gould, there's a lesson that I hope somebody relays to him. And that is market dictates price. You should not be dictating price, Adam. The market should be. If the market says that people are willing to pay a $2 fee to have their food delivered to them, then you charge them $2. You don't undercut everybody, because all you're doing is undercutting the market, and undercutting the market's not going to serve the market at all, because less people are going to want to be in the market. It's a whole thing. And so I remember I had this economics professor talk about a pencil, and he said simply, what if you could make a pencil for pennies on the dollar, where everybody else is making pencils that cost 50 cents, and you find a way that you can manufacture a pencil for a penny? How much are you going to sell your pencil for? And I was like, well, I mean, I think that I'd sell my pencil for 10 cents, and I would totally undercut my competition because they're selling them for $1. And I mean, that's a no-brainer. Everybody would buy my pencil. And he was like, oh, young grasshopper, you have a lot to learn. And I certainly did. The answer is, you do better. You come up with new technologies, new ways to create more value. You come up with ways to build and provide services at a cheaper rate, but you still charge market. You're leaving money on the table. How dare I smack him upside the head, just like Maloka, who was my Maloka. He was my favorite economics teacher I've ever had in my whole life. I just adore economics because I adored Maloka, and I like saying his name. And he had his wedding ring was all right. So this is PC. For those of you who are sensitive ear muffet, he had an ivory wedding ring. He was from Africa, so he had an ivory wedding ring. I thought it was kind of cool. Anyway, I recognize we don't want to kill elephants to make wedding rings. All right, I get it. So calm down. I didn't have the ring. Like, mine's metal. Okay. Don't be judging me. Here's another big story coming out for those of us who are looking at 2021 and wondering if we are prepared. And here's a shocker. And I've been talking about this for a long time, actually. As soon as, I got to say that my biggest competitor when it comes to staffing right now is the United States government. The United States government, hands down, can staff 10 times better than I can. They pay more than I do. They expect an awful lot less than I do. And there's a story out today. Actually, Fox Business News had just ran this story the other day, and it is millions of Americans could be in for a shock come April when they find out that their unemployment insurance, their unemployment claims do get taxed at the end of the year. As a matter of fact, they're saying 38% of respondents didn't even know that unemployment was taxable. It is. And 61% said they did not opt in. I guess you can. And I say I guess because I haven't collected unemployment in so long. Thank God, knock on wood. God knows I don't want to. But I guess they have an opt-in option where when you first sign up for unemployment, you can ask them to hold 10% of that unemployment and send it to the IRS so that it'll alleviate some of your tax liabilities. But they're saying 61% said that they did not do that, number one. And number two, they have not put any money aside for their unemployment taxes that they're going to be paying from their income tax in 2020 or 2021. And listen, you're hearing it now. It's the 15th of December. You have plenty of time to start putting $20, $30 away a week, maybe $10 a week, something. Man, I'll tell you what, there's nothing more excruciatingly painful than going to your tax place whenever you go to do your tax. You always know that there's two different types of people who go do their taxes, right? There are those who do it in January, and those are what we call tax winners because they're so super excited that they're going to get a refund, whether it's $5 or $5,000. And then there's the rest of me. You know, when I do my taxes, I do my taxes on the 15th of April. And if I could push it off till the 16th, I would. If I could wait till the 18th, I would even do that. I always push it off because boy, the last few years, it has been a challenge. Me and taxes have been a challenge. And there is nothing worse. Take it from me. There is nothing worse than sitting there across the desk from somebody they're doing your taxes for you at the end of the month or the middle of April. And they're like, do you have $9,000 you can pay this bill on? No, I don't. Do you have a credit card? The IRS takes credit cards. Guess what, friends? The IRS takes credit cards, and the credit card company would absolutely love to have your interest payment to pay your tax payment. Hey, now it's a full circle. If you're not aware of that already, oh my God, there's a story out that a friend sent me a story, and I'm so glad I've only got another minute and a half to talk about it because there's no reason I should be talking about this. The friend sent me a story and said, in the subject line, it said, "What say you?" And okay, so what say I? I looked at the story, got it here, printed it out, and here's the title. Your fat friends want you to start having conversations with fat people. Okay, so let me put this all together for you. The answer is no, they don't. No, they don't. Take it from me. I used to be the epitome of the fat friend. I used to be the person who everybody looked at with utter either disdain, like you either hated my guts because of how fat I was, or you felt completely sorry for me. Neither one of those, by the way, are helpful. I did not like either the dirty look or the compassionate look. If you could do me a favor, when I was really heavy, matter of fact, really it was heavy, I'm putting on weight. I got an injury. I think I've gained like 15 pounds in the last 5 weeks. I got an injury. My wife and I were running all the time, and we were working out. We were doing the run in the morning and working out in the afternoon, and stupid me got injured, and then 4 or 5 weeks of eating like I'm still running. Fat. Anyway, your fat friends do not want you to talk about how fat they are. It is so hard, so difficult. Take it from me. I would not steer you wrong. I was 350 pounds, and I, with peace and love, did not want to hear from my skinny friends telling me how, all you have to do is just eat a bowl of spaghetti. Yeah, okay, I do that. How dare you? All right, let me see here. Bill looks good. India, are we all good still? Please say yes. Please say yes. All right. Okay. Yes, I ran along. Darn it. I was trying to keep the story at the end so that, it was what time is it? All right, we have a big stuff to go over. Oh, that's the high school dropout. Tax shock. Overweight people. No, Bill, it's not the snow in Buffalo that's making me late. It's my dumb. I can't stop talking. What do you want me to do? Sometimes I pause. All right, what are we going to? 132? 132.30. 132.30. I'm going to get this clock down. You watch. I'm going to get this clock down. India, we're still good. Good. You said yes, we are. That's good. Okay. What's weird is I'm normally broadcasting from my studio. In my studio, I have 3 screens, and so I have everything spread out. I have India on chat. I've got the program manager on another chat. I've got my script in front of me. I have news articles. I have my timer. But now, because I'm on the road, I have like this singular one tiny little Mac screen. I'm trying to fit it all in. It's a nightmare. First world problems, right? Can't get it all on one screen. Everything's small. I'm trying to read. What are you going to do? 132.30. See ya, Dairy Queen. We have a lot to talk about still. Ferris wheels. All right, here we go. Starting my timer a little early because God knows one of us can't be trusted with a clock. That's what happened to me last time, though. I thought, I have time because I added extra time, and guess what? I didn't have time. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Ralph Peterson Radio Show. Hour, quarter, 3. Oh my gosh, we're halfway through. Halfway through. We have so much more to get to. I gotta tell you, I work in long-term care, and over the last few weeks, December, January, the end of November, it's always the busiest time of the year for me, and it's because I work with the Quality Award Program, which is through the Malcolm Baldrige, through the American Healthcare Association. And this is the time of the year when everybody is just working super hard, trying to explain their processes and their systems, and they're trying to figure out how exactly to say what it is they need to be saying when it comes to how senior leaders lead, how they develop a strategy, how do they communicate and engage with their staff, how do they communicate and engage with their residents, their patients, their customer groups, how to identify their customer groups, how do they hire people. It's such a great process. But one of the things that we're always looking at is proof. And so you always have to try to figure out, if you have a good business idea, what happens to most people? What happens to most people when they get a good business idea is they come up with an idea and they're like, oh my gosh, I have this great idea that everybody's going to absolutely love. And then they immediately start creating that idea. They want to see it in reality. So if it's a new app, they spend all their time, all their efforts, all their money, even thousands of dollars in resources creating this new app or this new product or this new service before they ever attempt to sell it. They never attempt to sell it until they have it created. And then what often happens is that's when they find out that there's no market for it. They can't find anybody to buy it. And so they've spent all this time, all this money, all this effort, all these resources on creating something that they can't sell. The best thing to do is doing it the other way, which is to sell the product, sell the idea, conceive it fully in your mind, and then go out and sell it before you create one single iota of it. Don't start creating anything until you have someone who is interested in buying it. If somebody says, that sounds really interesting. I'd like to see what that would look like. There you go. Start building a little framework around it. Start trying to figure out what will it look like? What would they actually be physically getting? And that is how you start creating real value in business. And by the way, it's how you don't waste your own time and resources and energy. And when we're talking about operational management, which is the focus of this show, your time, your efforts, your resources, which could also be your employees' resources, and your money should be guarded like a jealous husband. We just don't let anybody take it from you. Don't let anybody stare at it too long. Don't let anybody get too close to it. You really need to guard it with your life. And I think that this is one of the funnest times of the year for me, because I learned so much, because I'm involved with so many people who are working on their applications for the bronze, the silver, and the gold awards, that they're literally like, hey, this is our communication worksheet. What do you think of this? And it shows like this whole system of how they get information, they share information. There's a feedback loop to where the information that they share, they can track to see who's listening to it, who's engaging with it, who's reading it or listening or consuming it, and then following up with those people, and those people who didn't get it, or they put it in a medium so that it wasn't listened to or read or shared. Then they go, okay, so this communication works really well for these people over here, but it apparently isn't working well at all for these people over here. So let's do two things. One, let's continue to communicate with these people in this manner because they're buying it, but let's change our communication mechanism with these people because they are not buying it. That, my friends, is operational effectiveness times 10. That is literally just getting down there and saying, okay, this is what our intention is. This is how we're trying to get a hold of our customer. This is how we're trying to communicate or engage. This is how we're trying to hire people. Hiring people has got to be I got to tell you right now, this funny thing, and I might have brought it up before already because I've talked about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is a book that I think everybody should read. But one of the big concepts in Rich Dad, Poor Dad is it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. You're like, oh, okay. So it's about making more, spending less, kind of. And it sort of is. But it's really about concentrating on the money you keep instead of just the money that you make. And in staffing and hiring, we do not have, not in my business anyway, in many of the facilities that I'm familiar with, we do not have a challenge with hiring people. We have a challenge with keeping people. And so we're able to hire like at a record pace, but we're not able to keep. And so then you have to ask yourself, why is that? What is happening down at the visceral level here? How far down can we drill? Is it important? Let me ask you this here. Is it important to know why we're not able to keep staff? I would argue, I see you all nodding your head along. The answer is 1,000,000%. Well, then let's take another question. You have a bunch of products on the shelf and they're not buying. Nobody's buying them. Is it important to consider, to research, to think about, to look into why people are not buying your product? Again, head nodding, right? The answer is 1,000,000% yes. So how do you look at those things? How do you test your products? How do you test your services? Is there a benchmark that you're looking at? Is there a communication guideline that you're looking at? Is there a open rate that you're looking at? Is there a sales rate that you're looking at? Is there a error rate that you're looking at? How are you measuring the success of your communication? How are you measuring the success of your hiring protocols? How are you measuring the success of your general orientation? How are you measuring the success of the product or service that you created? That loop of trying to figure out, is it working? Proof of life, proof that it's working, proof that it isn't working, I think is one of the greatest questions that all business entrepreneurs should be asking themselves on a daily, maybe not on a daily basis. We get bogged down with the minutia of stuff. But the other part of that is the one of the traps that we fall into when we're focusing on what is not working is we only focus on what is not working. And so you've heard the whole phrase, to turn a phrase, that the squeaky wheel is what everybody pays attention to and when everybody gets on. I got to say, I'm going to bring back up my friend Adam here to just do another marketing example. The kid who made the high school dropout, who made, it's proof that high school isn't for all of us. Okay, that's what the high school drop. I don't know why I'm so stuck on it. I take it personally. That's why. Because I felt stupid in high school. I really did feel stupid, knowing that I was not stupid. I knew I wasn't stupid, but I felt stupid. So I don't know. Put that. I don't know where to put that. Take that, and I don't know. We can ruminate on it for however long we need to. But there's this whole nice example about where to spend your time and your resources on, and the knee-jerk reaction is to spend your time and your resources on what we're doing wrong. How to fix what we're doing wrong. And I fall into that myself. But I remember I heard this great analogy regarding a salesperson. And so a sales manager has two salespeople working for them. One person is selling 10 apples a day, and the other is selling 100 apples a day. And you only have a limited amount of time and resources to invest in one of your salespeople. And so who are you going to invest all your time and effort in? And when I was a young entrepreneur, when I was first trying to figure all this stuff out, I would have said, when maybe you too, that I would spend all my time and resources with the kid who's only selling 10 apples. I mean, because he's obviously the one who needs the most help. I mean, you have one person selling 100 apples, that seems to be pretty great, and one person selling 10. So why can't we get that person who's selling 10 up to selling 100? Then I'll have 200 apples being sold. Here's the truth, though. You could increase, let's say you did that and you just followed, it just makes sense to put all my time and resources in the kid who's only selling 10 apples. What is your expectation, reasonable expectation about what you're going to be able to do for this kid? I mean, even if you got him to sell 100% more than he currently sells, that's only 20 apples. However, if you spent your time and resources on the kid who's selling 100 apples and you only got 20% return on, he only got 20% better, that's 20 apples. And so imagine if you spend all your time and resources on the kid who's spending, and so by the way, if you spend all your time and energy on the kid who's selling 100 apples and you only get 20% return, you just got twice as 100% more than the other kid. Yeah, 100% more than the other kid. I mean, that's why we should be it's important to go over your problems. It's important to recognize your issues, but it's also important when you're looking at proof of life, don't just look at what everything's going right. Don't look at the products or services that you're killing it on, or don't look at the ones that you're not killing it on. I mean, the ones that you have problems with. Look at those products and services that you are doing everything right on. Those are the ones that you got to keep moving forward. Case in point, I know we're tied up against the hour here, but I own a management company and I work in nursing homes. And so the biggest challenge for me over this past year has been, how do I continue working in nursing homes when the visiting, going to nursing homes, going to meet with new clients and introduce myself and all that has been really, really challenging. And what I've done is I created an online nursing home called the Standard Health and Rehab. You can go to the standardhealthandrehab.com right now, and you'll see it's a nursing home, a 100-bed nursing home that I created, that I am offering my housekeeping and laundry services on as a model. So now I'm able to do the same thing, pretty close to it anyway. Actually, I'm even able to offer more services than I was before by focusing on something that I was already doing right. I was already doing a good job with housekeeping and laundry. Now, because of the pandemic, it forced me to relook at that business model that I already had in place, that I already had the policies in place. I'm already an expert in my field, and just be able to concentrate on it. Now, all of a sudden, I've opened up opportunities that I would have never known existed had I not started to concentrate on and looking at how to make what I already do better. And that's the focus. All right. That was a little better. That was a little tighter. Better. Tighter, maybe. Indy, are we still all good? Last segment up, we're going to be talking about some good news out there in the world to wrap up this holiday week of yours, or the week prior to the holiday, whatever. Good. Last segment of the day. Oh, timing on the close is right on the mark. Look at me. Hey now. Hey now. Whoop, whoop. You wouldn't think timing would be such a big deal, but it is. It is. It is. It is. Good. Thank you, India. Thank you. Okay. $146. We're going to 147.30. My watch is dying. I've plugged in, I thought, all night. Poop on a stick. That's what I say. All right. Starting early again. Because if I don't, I get in trouble. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Ralph Peterson Radio Show, the final segment. We are on our last segment of the day. Only a couple more weeks left of 2020. Thank you so much for joining us here at the IBGR Radio Show. The big thing that I would want to end the show with is a couple of things. I like to end it on a positive note, but maybe we'll just talk about a little bit of, I'm going to take a bad news story and I'm going to spin it so it's good news. But first, let's talk about a couple of good news stories. One, I don't know if you heard about this, but I heard about there was a chain of cars that went for like 2.5 days, people in a drive-through, where the people in the front were paying for the people behind them. And this whole chain of strangers buying one another's meal, it was at a Dairy Queen drive-through. And it happened in Brainerd, Minnesota, of all places, and it was 900 people, 2.5 days. So I have never been a part of one of these situations. I've purchased lunch for the person behind me, but I knew who the person behind me was. It was like one of those things. I've never done it for a stranger in a drive-thru. You just go up and pay for the person behind you. But I did one time, sneaky. Actually, I wasn't trying to be sneaky. I wasn't intentional about it at all, but it was so funny. I got turned around. This was a few years ago. I got turned around. I was in a part of a state or a town I did not know, and I got turned around. And so I had to, my GPS was like telling me to turn around. So I make a U-turn. And there's a Dunkin' Donuts. And so there's a drive-through at the Dunkin' Donuts. And so I just figure I'm going to just drive. I have no intention of going through the drive-through. I just want to turn around. So I'm figuring I could just drive around the building and come out the other side. Well, the drive around the building to the other side was the drive-through lane. There was no other lane. And so I just drove right past the little speaker that asked me if I wanted something because I didn't want something. And I turned the corner and there's another two cars in my way. So they're ordering food or had already ordered food. And unbeknownst to me, there's somebody come up behind me and they ordered food. So now to the people inside the drive-through, they have three cars waiting for them. The truth is, I was the third car and I hadn't ordered anything. So when I got up to the window, they hand me a coffee and a bag full of food. I had to pay for it, of course. And I was going to say, that's not me. I was just driving through, but I didn't. Instead, I just paid for whatever. I was like, this is just going to be the funniest story or the worst story. And, it turns out I got a nice little bagel and a coffee. So I love the idea that the next car came up and they're like, did you order? Yeah, we just ordered. And, nobody knew that they had. All right. Maybe it wasn't that funny of a story. It's funny to me. 900 strangers bought one another meals at Dairy Queen. And why I think that is such a fun story to tell is because Dairy Queen is one of those companies that are on the verge of not doing well coming out of 2020. There's this whole story of this whole prediction of stores and restaurants that are not going to come out of 2020. It doesn't look like they're going to come out of 2020 faring all that well. And the story, oh my God, I almost forgot to talk about Sia. You guys all know Sia, the music artist Sia. She went into a Walmart in Palm Springs, California the day before Thanksgiving and decided to just buy everybody's groceries. Love that story. That's so fun because I think one of the funnest things about that story for me is that there's actually pictures of her. If you go look it up, just put Sia at Walmart, you Google that, you're going to see pictures of Sia, which, if you know anything about Sia, she always hid her face. You never knew what she looked like. She was the type of artist that never wanted to be in the limelight for her looks. And so it's fun just to see what she looks like. I'm like, there's pictures of Sia. I didn't even know what she was. Anyway, so she went out and did a nice thing. But I'm going to just go through the list of restaurants that experts, I'm using air quotes, experts are saying that may not be here for very much longer. And I'm telling you, this list is, it's interesting. Boston Market, which I think has the hands down best chicken pot pie that's out there, is Boston Market. Steak and Shake is not going to be around much longer. They're hurting. It's crazy. Red Robin, by the way, I should tell you about Red Robin. Red Robin is the home of bottomless fries. But that means they'll just keep bringing you French fries. To say that that's a thing, and I didn't know that was a thing, is there anything better than bottomless French fries? I remember the only time, I think it actually is the only time I've ever been to a Red Robin. I was speaking at a conference. I got out of there and not to brag, but I did well. I gave this great lecture on engaging leaders or something. I don't know what the title was. And everybody was super complimentary. And I get out of there feeling like I was the greatest man on earth. And I check my email and I got this scathing email and voicemail from my boss at the time, who was quite upset that I was off speaking on my own time rather than putting a proposal together. And I had better get that proposal together in, 8 seconds or whatever was going to hit the fan. And so I remember there was right across the street, there was a big shopping plaza and there was a Red Robin restaurant. I'd never been to a Red Robin, but I go in there. I'm super stressed out now. Long story short, this lady took great care of me. And it seemed like every time I looked up, she brought me a new basket of French fries. And so I immediately fell in love with her. And it was the only time that I had ever considered giving anybody 100% tip. I had never even thought about that before, but the bill wasn't very much. It was like $15 and change. And I was like, you know what? This lady is so fantastic. She's giving me free French fries. And so whatever the tip bill was, I doubled it. So it ended up being like $30 and change, $31 and change. But I remember I felt so amazing for doing that. And then she stopped me on the way out of the door because she saw the tip and she was so thankful. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. It's so nice of you. We had like this fantastic moment. I was like, oh, you have no idea how much you just saved me. And you were bringing me French fries. And she's like, but that's our policy. And you didn't have to tell me that. I didn't know. Oh, you could have just said you were just being nice. It was so great. And to think that Red Robin's on the chopping block. Tim Horton. How is Tim Horton on this list? I'm in Buffalo, New York right now. I got to tell you, I don't know if Tim Hortons headquarters is here in Buffalo, but they ought to be because they are there's a Tim Hortons on every street corner here. It's like there's more Tim Hortons than there are Starbucks here in Buffalo. And that says a lot to say that Tim Hortons might be on the chopping block. Perkins Restaurants might be on the chopping block. Marie Callender? Seriously? This is a crazy, crazy, crazy list. Hooligans, Pie Five. All right, I'd never heard of Pie Five, but it's a pizza place. Ruby Tuesdays, Friendlies. All right, let's be honest. I'm surprised Friendlies is still around. There used to be, when I grew up, there was a restaurant called there was a department store called JJ Newberry's, and inside JJ Newberry's had a malt shop in there, and I think if it wasn't Friendlies, it was kind of like a precursor to a Friendlies, and that's what Friendlies always reminds me of. This old time, sit at the counter, get a milk, a milkshake or a root beer float or something. So I'm not really all that surprised Friendlies is on the downturn. But Applebee's is on the list? How the heck is Applebee's on the list? Chili's? Buffalo Wild Wings? I mean, this list is truly insane when you start thinking about that this pandemic has kind of, and I'm sure that it didn't all happen from the pandemic. I'm sure there were probably some decisions that were made along the line that perhaps led to this, but it only just got exacerbated. Hooters is going under. Again, this is just a list. TGI Fridays. This is a list that these experts are saying that these are locations, these are restaurants that are falling on hard times, and the prediction is they're going to have a real struggle coming out of 2020 into 2021 with any kind of veracity at all. Subway? What? How is Subway on it? Five Guys? Five Guys is on this list. Outback Steakhouse. I mean, it's just Hometown Buffet, Bob Evans, Noodle Company. How is IHOP on this list? I mean, Joe's Crab Shack. This list just goes on and on and on. And I got to tell you that it is crazy to think that these organizations may not be able to live through this pandemic. But let's put a positive spin on this. I remember back in 2013, maybe 2014, I had some good friends of mine who bought a boat. And this boat was like the biggest, best boat any of us had ever seen. And they were so super happy and so super proud of it. And they were taking all of us out on the marina out in Newport, Rhode Island. And they just loved every square inch of this boat. And I said, how did you guys afford a boat? And they just smiled, and they were in the right place at the right time, because if you remember, for 2013, 2014, we had a huge economic downturn. There was a big problem in the economy. A lot of people were losing money, and because of that, there were people who literally had luxury items, i.e., a big boat, and some other things that they had that they could no longer afford and had to sell off cheaper than probably they wanted to. And there were people in a position to grab them up. And so, listen, for those restaurateurs who are, biding their time, I have a friend of mine who just opened a brand new hair salon in Virginia. And you'd think, well, who the heck opens a new business in the middle of a pandemic? Well, I'll tell you, people with some foresight, people with a little bit of cash. These are a lot of eateries. These are a lot of places that are going under, that are shaky right now. And I mean, even if 1/4 of them actually goes under, that means there's a lot of opportunity for those of you out there who are looking to start your own thing. Maybe 2021 is your year. Maybe it is your year. Maybe this is the year for you to live all your dreams. It's certainly going to be my year. Let's stand by. Let's do it together. Thanks for listening to Ralph Peterson Radio Show. We will talk to you next week. And that's it, my friend. That's it, my friend. Let me log off. Bill is being very complimentary. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. at the Ralph Peterson Radio Show.